April 16th, 1:26 p.m. Windy Banks Pawnbrokery. Here again at the scene is a crime. So let's use representative pictures from Gregson's face and see what he makes of it. Hello again, Inspector. You have a minute, please. What is it now? Should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the letters, the representation papers. Your ladyship! How? I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabuzz to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Lovely. Let's see now. Yes, I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime, then? Do as you please. You know where it happened. Through that door behind the counter. That's where I discovered Mr. Winniebank. Gina. I want to investigate out here first. Right. Well, I'll be getting back to business then. We've been investigating the storeroom as well, Inspector. I'm perfectly honest. We need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. There are so many articles to go through. It's taking forever. Even the lads working around the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case that the yard needs to investigate urgently. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Okay, Gregsy. Come, let us not waste any time. No, I'm investigating out here. I want to know what this is. Oh, it's the lamp. There's the article ledger here. Mr. Winniebank's notes. So it looks like someone has left a little photographic print behind. It's the same as this. Does he put all his stuff on a cat picture? It's a radio. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie. Show us. February 15th, 10:30 p.m. Article by the one gentleman's overcoat. Okay, so this is the redemption ticket Gina had. Well, not paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th of April, 10:30 p.m. Gentleman's overcoat, pawned for £1. Clearly, it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat Jeannie redeemed yesterday. And it's still wearing. Which belonged to Mr. McGuilded's. Whatever expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. Seems Mr. Wizenbreak has used whatever piece of paper he happened to have on hand. It's this photograph of a cat. Looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact picture somewhere recently. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same as the one Ginny gave us earlier. Of course. I was forgetting that she gave us that print. What are you waiting for, Norther? Get it out! Alright. Cog's turn. Yes, they're exactly the same. I've got it. These two photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us anything about the pair of photographs. So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. one we found here on Winnipeg's counter and the one in Gina gave us before. For some reason, I feel like the cat on the left's head is turned slightly. And like, oh yeah, the patch below it's a little differently too. These might be pictures from his camera. They're like the cat would always sit there. Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry. If you look carefully, two prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They're not? Have another look at them now. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? I think so. It's very subtle, though. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Ah, well, it's because they're a set, you see. No, I don't. It's a pair of photographs. It's meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them. Oh. Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? It's the thing over there. Oh yes, that's what Mr. Jones showed us yesterday. You see? There it is. Right over there. Yes, of course. The magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depths in pictures even without one of those contraptions. What? Really? Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depths in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be able to tell you. She's over the moon. Bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on the investigation of the scene. I simply have to know. Have you ever considered, Bruno, how our eyes see depths in the world around us? Well, I just opened them, and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes? Shocking. Try closing just one eye at a time. I think I'll see straight away. What you see with your left eye. What you see with your right eye. Are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly. Your head. And in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate the depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. Ah, my brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. I think I see. This is a pair of photographs. It consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So, if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you're able to see depth in these prints. Yes, Bruno. You're beginning to understand. The stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to just do just that. Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Yeah, I'm dying to have a go. Sasasa really loves this kind of thing. You'll be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. No. I think I can. Watch me. If you can. I can't do that. Alright. Let me try. Ready, Mr. Howard? It's so creepy! There. How's that? Wonderful. Now's your turn, Bruno. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Looks like the easy test when people are staring at you cross-eyed, and it's terrifying looking. Like, you can't tell me that's not terrifying. Alright, that's enough practice. Let's try looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly cross your eyes. You can see the two overlapping images like this. Gonna have to give it a try. Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step. Let's put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then try crossing your eyes again. Prints should slowly merge together until for a single image in this. Oh yes! Mr. Haruhodo, it works! I can see in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day. I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Bruno. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Why is this a thing that has to be in the game? There, you managed it. So now I show you this. So now you know how the stereoscope images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So what do you think of these stereoscope prints then, Bruno? They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. That's why contraptions like this exist. Oh, I recognize that. Saw one over there yesterday, didn't you? If I remember correctly, press this little knob here. Then set the pair of photographs in the stand in the back. And it's still amazing, even though I roughly know how it works now. Well, Lennon seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. Find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But these little machines are so affordable. Sure, there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at a picture like you hate them. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so, in any case. Stereoscope pictures. Never heard of them until yesterday. Certainly learned a lot about them. But I wonder if it's knowledge I'll ever actually need. All that just to get that picture added to the court record. Why can I still search this? I want to look at the ground. It's on the ground. Alien spy. So the wall says we came in. Keep it down. Oh, sorry. It's a major clue here. Really? We must tell Gravesy at once. But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. We'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I've been home in 2 days already. I needed a constable to relieve me and take over my shift. I really have a tough time with these British people. That doesn't stop us from investigating, though, does it? No, I suppose not. Fair sure it's in the calendar as period. Behind that door, it's a storeroom, isn't it? What Greg said. Yes, that's where I saw the dreadful scene last night. So it's a little window in the door. Through the little window. Mr. Whitney Bing, face down on the floor, was Gina beside him. Something's telling me that at one point it's gonna get pointed out like, oh, the gun was fired a couple, like they fired the gun multiple times in there. But we know from what he told us, there's only one bullet in that gun. As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene. So you must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's a real scene of the crime. Don't worry, if there are any clues in there, I'll find them. Every inch of the place. Instructions from the yard are to examine every article in the shop, and every ledger and book accounts. Every article? But that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. Sifting through it, all sifted at least, but still. We're working through the night, that's for sure. Even when we barely scratched up the surface. Crime and pawnbrokers. Must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know. Crime and pawnbrokers. Articles have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. That box is standing out. Wait, which box? Yes, it's really strange. Miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy the horse statue? Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk you know. right? Well, it's like a collection of useless junk as a whole. When you pick out individual things, you can't help but wishing you owned them. Even the horse statue. It's exactly how a pawnbroker works. They're very clever. I don't see what box you're talking about, Lance. Oh, the music box? We've already talked about that. Hasn't been investigated recently, but... Poor Iris. She's clamped up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Bingebink's life was taken in this very room only last night. Ah! Wait, Inspector! What is it now, sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think Scotland Yard Inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do ya? Well... Never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I don't know what to say to her. She won't run away from me. You were running away from a 10-year-old? I'm afraid this is a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Eh? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? Oh. Get out of here, Gregsy. Just leave. Go. You're not helping. I don't think that went very well. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of investigating here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet. We have investigating to do ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say. Early. Inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. Now, my eyes are going right to this box. All the articles in the storeroom. It's the one thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. What is it, Iris? That's the box file my manuscript was being kept in. Uh-oh. Oh? Iris's unpublished story. The Hound of the Bakersfield. Surely, that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, you sold it. Without telling you. You must check the inside of the box. At once. Yes. Ah! It was there. Iris' story was there. Really? It was? Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris? Yes. I mean, of course, I believe Hurley when he said he deposited here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it. Really? It's not a very well hidden frown. I want something to investigate on this. I want more. This is a revolver. A real one. Lance, it wouldn't have mattered. I would have not gotten anything from it. There's no point in checking it. And quite possibly it's a murder weapon used to take Mr. Windybank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Runa look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windybank with this yesterday, didn't we? I shall have to take my own life. Must be the same gun. No, you don't, Lance. You don't have to check everything. Last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door in the storm room, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. Sir Windybank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet in it has been fired. So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Oh, we can't add it to the court record. Police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Big dude. Mr. Windybank was such a nice old man. Well, he was shot just once through the heart. Most likely, the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt much of a sin. Wouldn't have felt a sin. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. What? Looks like a sight of blood to get the pump. A sight of blood to get the blood pumping. Is there Runa? I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you are. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes me run cold. There you have it. You see? When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this. Oh, what is that scary looking thing? Huh, really, I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch. Oh, you can find blood stains. There, does it make sense now? Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Good. Works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful. Chemical it fires combines with blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is when you're looking at it in a flash. It's a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great. So whose blood are we looking at then? Must be Mr. Windybank's blood. Yes, that's where he was shot, so can't be any question of that. Could turn out to be very valuable. Look at that. A green and left shirt. must find a true culprit. Yes, absolutely. Can we use your device, Iris? So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? You've got eyes, have you? It's what it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand? So, Grexy, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh yes, your ladyship, do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, shortly after the hour 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. And one and only door to this dorm was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. We already know that. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Is that what the police officers were doing? What? Stupid bot. Lock appears to be broken now, so was that the police officers were doing? Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in with humbly as possible. Oh. As you can see, victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter check. Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector. Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl, is curled up on the floor, dead to the world. Still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. I'm afraid to say, she had the gun that was used in her hand. No! Presumably, the gun is still down there on the floor now. I don't know why they'd leave the gun there. In her pocket, found a key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom? You say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector. Right. All of which leaves her ladyship friend. Somewhat of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Absolutely. My personal opinion is it's some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. Are we completely forgetting about the two thugs? Grexy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is his operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he? Well, the thing is, don't miss your words, Inspector, please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is... No. The operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well... Out with it! Yes, ma'am. They use something called general anesthetic. Is the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensible. The whole body? Anesthetized? Is that even possible? Means operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep. goodness. Empire with Jim Pan, we just managed to provide laughing cast for a 2-6 extraction. Trouble is, latest thing isn't always the greatest thing if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. Now that the op's finished, they say they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Oh no. Oh no. No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in the system, or the book's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again. Hurley. Mo, his eyes open. Your ladyship, I swear I shall get the word to you. What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Shom has had to do things his way. Maybe he just wants me to look at this. Pocket of the coat. I don't know if you've noticed, there's something rather troubling. Oh. Okay, yeah, need iris. Of course. I have to move out here to talk to her. Oh, that looks like blood. Aside from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Bruno. Leave the rest to me. Purple. It's a color we haven't seen before, is it? It'd be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to or something. Well, this particular stain of blood. Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Would it be Gina's? Or was it Shom's? I don't. It can't be Iris. It can't be Winniebags. Can't be Sasato. So Gina and Shom's are my only guesses here. Yeah, I'm gonna try Gina first. Gina's my first guess. I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but it's a little deduction. That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. Who do you think it belongs to? Right, I believe that this is the blood of... Wait. This is the same color as his like that he wears all the time though. Oh no. I think it's Mason or McGuilded. Mason's the only person I know of these that like we know has bled out or something. I'm going with it. I'm going with Mason. Thrice fried Mason. You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course, I never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. But he was definitely thrice fried, though. The victim? Of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Thrice Fried Mason. But that would mean that this blood stain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Winniebanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the blood stain was already on it at the time. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGuilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. This hand, it makes sense. Now I ask you, what a good-hearted soul wouldn't want rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? So yeah, it's Miss McGuilded's the one to put on because he held it with his bloody glove. Because yeah, now that I think about it, Gina would have had her hands washed off by then. Like there's no, like I think she said she came the next day at night. So it makes sense that it was McGuilded that got the blood on there because he had blood on his glove. So he grabbed the ticket from the old man and then he put it in a hiding spot. That makes sense. And so you can see the blood on the tip of that glove right there. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. But we know that McGuilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude that any blood on his glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Bruno. Very well. Let's make a note of this. What do you hear? For the puzzle. So ran out of the office. Church area. We'll take on whatever paper they had. Let's see. Yes, this is a ticket from Mr. McGuilded's overcoat. It's one of the little diver trunk was yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Oh, it was Gregson asking if it was in there. No. Really? Think you know better than me, do you? No, I didn't mean to. Bruno's right, Greggy. It isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. I never doubted your leadership. So, what's up? That's this then, if I might be so bold as to ask. This is a second ticket. A second one? Seems that Mr. McGuilded, in fact, had another article in storage here at Winniebanks. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, oh good. Because he's so easy to talk to. There we go. This ticket was in one of the pockets of McGuilded's overcoat. Eh? You mean to tell me? Yes, there's more than just a music box disc in it. Should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard for examination properly. Well, according to the details on the ticket, Mr. McGuilded deposited another article here with Mr. Winniebanks. Yes, I can see. Written here. Small box, was it? Do you have an idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? This other article belonging to Mr. Gilman. It could be an important clue. Yes, sir. Suppose it could be. Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles, I will. I'll go barking. This is no time for dog impressions. That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There's one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here then. That's right. It's been forfeited. Which means it could be on the shelves in front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. You must search for them through them at once. Wasting your time. Oh? There are dozens of little boxes out there. Hundreds even. Can't possibly know which one might be Mr. McGuilded's. That information's not written in the ledger. Well, I think you'll at least have a look, just in case. Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible for you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Okay, so where else do I look? Oh, shoot, there's blood on that. Yes, a bullet. Bullet hole. Bullet still lodging in the wall. Presumably, Mr. Winniebank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. I don't know how I didn't notice that any sooner. Ah, well. Mr. Chumps like to practice his drawing room whenever he can. It's very patriotic like that. Sorry? Well, there are any adventures? Erlock Sholmes, you know? Is that right, Iris? Ah, did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It's quite a dangerous matter. He doesn't do it often? He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that now. Let's examine the bullet. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar. Aha! And this is where I come in. Oh, right. Blood changes to be the same color as the sample from the store. No, it was Mr. Winniebank's blood. Exactly. Here we go then. Green. Completely different color to that of Mr. Winniebank's blood turned into Alice. Just goes to show, things don't always go according to plan, do they? Yep. Dong. Ah! Nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Winniebank set such a wicked trap? I doubt that he said that to scare him. Is that really the time? I think perhaps I should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh! The trial is tomorrow. Let's establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think you should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't we already have it? She's already agreed, but... Do you remember, Bruno? You told her that you told her that she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Like, did I say that? Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. So... Is the box... Did the box got taken by the thugs, probably. The thugs probably knew what box it was and they came to take it. Ah, Gina, good. You're back. Police must have finished questioning her then. Huh. How was it, Jeannie? Was it awful? Eh? Oh. Didn't bother me. Thank you for your the papers you signed before. It meant that we were able to investigate at Windy Banks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying that I did it. That's not. Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork for... Now, if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right. I see. She's really lost all fight in her, folks. I know what it feels like. The worry's just so hard to bear. Oh, alright then. Please me. Give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo, all of us know that you're innocent of this crime. While we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being in there in the first place. I think I know why you broke into Windy Banks that night. So I'm gonna have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason. Thrust it in Dina's face. Or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Won't let me present it there. We found this in Mr. Windybake's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windybanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. I dropped my controller. Oops. The box that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night. You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Bakersville was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Why don't you tell us what happened, please? We already have the representation papers and other documents we need. All we need to do is hand them over to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Nah, don't bother. Kenny. Rip them up and check them, would you? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. Cell ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So what will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. This one stubborn pickpocket. Alright, yeah. This Bakersville story is the latest Sholmes invention, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured, gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yeah, at least 5,000 pounds. What? So, you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you? No. Kitty, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript or whatever you call it really was there. That's the only reason I was into place. For Iris's sake. Isn't that right? Huh? We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Guinea. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that manuscript at Windy Banks, see it if you gotta look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Guinea, that was so sweet of you. Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Stop looking at me like that, Iris. It weren't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. Just wanted to know the truth. That's all. We wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest. If he'd really deposited a manuscript at Winnie Banks. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris is a lot like mine. Ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. I reckon it's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway. Last night, when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about your dad. You mean, they're not the adventures of a great detective? So much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner. Well, that's how I see it, yeah. So thoughtful, so kind, Guinea. Yes, we never saw it any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I ate all the chummy nonsense. Did you hear? I ate it. Don't trust no one, right? That's how it works. Because if I don't trust no one can let you down. Leave me alone. Go on, Scrapper. Her sleeves. What's on her sleeves? I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. There's some very suspicious red stains. What are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some other Findings in an area. Those stains on your sleeves are of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood? Not Mr. Naruhodo. You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could that blood be splattered from Mr. Windybanks when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. Trust your friend to find results faster. Faster than anything else. Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Guinea. I'm going to shoot. We don't have purple yet, right? Wait. Oh, wait, no. This is... Yeah, we do have this purple. Oh, my gosh. Well, it does make sense. Oh. Oh, my. What the... Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. No, this isn't Mason's coat, remember? This was McGuilded's coat. Coat was covered in blood. Of course. Black color of fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood is retracted with the chemical to turn a purple color. Yes, but just because the blood is his doesn't make the coat his, Lance. Think back to case 3. Think back. Remember, this is McGuilded's coat. We've established that. McGuilded's the one that stabbed him. If blood would still end up on McGuilded himself. That's why he had to get rid of the coat. Which is why he had the old man put it in Windybanks in the first place. And the blood dried up, so you couldn't really tell. So he had to make sure he didn't have it. Oh, I didn't even read that. And the blood is reacted with a chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see who had the purple blood. Aha! Yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim in a murder case two months ago. Knew it. What? What are you on about? The victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. His omnibus case is finally solved. Heck yeah! Truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Would someone explain to me what's going on? Stop telling half a story. You can now see that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGuilded's overcoat. In a trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? What about start worrying about me gloves now, was I? Reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at his overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from Mr. McGuilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. No. If that's what really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation is that for this pattern of blood. If that it splattered over Mr. McGuilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in his stomach. Tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGuilded. Mr. Naruhodo, this horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. Used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocent. How could I let that happen? Bruno, did you believe in him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGuilded was innocent? Not really. I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is the defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon? Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama. Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what's truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for them in their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. Heck yeah, Kazuma. What's funny, Gina? Sounds like the Empire of Japan you come from. Everyone must be soft. Well, come on. Look at the mess you got into. Believing that bog trotter. You did not just call Kazuma that. I will not take that. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you learned your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back of the end. As soon as you let your guard down, you at it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one. Get hurt by no one. But if no one believes in you, you're the one that gets hurt. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip them and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all now. Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. No, I don't want to rip him up. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? You're telling me you can believe me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I trust her. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. You half-baked? Not at all. You've not once admitted committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you were telling me the truth. Believer! Seriously? Mr. Naruto? Didn't you hear all of what I've said before? I'm a born liar. Fits just trip off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. Pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into some sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? Gina, I do understand why you chose to put your trust in us. Don't choose to put your, but I assure you, there is more to this life than you get realized. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. It's true that I am just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in court experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What? What do you expect me to say to that? She's crying! She's crying! Oh, hey! Then it's decided. I'll take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. I'd be ashamed to throw them away after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do you like? You Eastern Ladder. Or I don't know what you are. I don't get you. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. It turned out alright in the end, I think. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping at the height of cowardice. Mrs. Sato? Somebody's there behind, in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. What? Is it Sholmes? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Oh. Greg said, I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts. Like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Gregsy. Oh dear me, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. Oh yeah, Sean should be recovered now, right? How long have you been listening to our conversation? Good. I'm listening. No. I got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave, even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived this very minute, not a moment after, not a moment earlier. That is all. Nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Cheerio. All the best. Bye-bye and bye. That's a lot of farewells. Not one of them appropriate for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at midnight. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish, Lord Strongheart will Emergency? Lord Strongheart? None! Forget I said anything! Anyway, I'm off. Alright, Gregsy. If you have to, let's chat soon. Delighted, charm, can't wait, if you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries. Not one of them sounded sincere. Bye, Gregsy. Gregsy's so funny. He says such silly things. It's certainly interesting to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency at the Supreme Court. Must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Miss Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. So our investigation came to an end. So Sato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of China the following day. Then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that I'd been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, so Sato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. Naruhodo-san, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Sato-san? Today's been even more trying for you, sure. Sholmes was shot before our eyes, Gina was arrested, and all on the back of the news that your father has fallen ill, and you must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is. So many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem to be unable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that's done, I shall make the preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task. Just 2 months since we arrived in London. And since we managed to establish this office, I'm finally feeling as though we were settling in. I'd be lying if I said I felt no regret. So sorry, Sasato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here a short time, but my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel like I've learned some. And what would that be? It seems to me there are many facets to people's personalities. Facets? Like a jewel, the light plays off them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we only see a small number of the total facets. What is illuminated is only part of the whole story. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay our eyes on for as long as we live. That's so true. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much, but I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. That all the facets will be illuminated, and I'll finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san, I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think that just 2 months, you've grown so much. Sorry? Is she tearing up? I see a little glint right here. Sorry? Of what? Oh, no. It was nothing. Unimportant. Do you know what time you'll be leaving London in the morning? Yes. I picked up my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 a.m. Isn't it like 9 p.m.? Girl, you gotta get ready. I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible. even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try. You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this. What is that? This huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus. The McGuilded case. It seems to me that this case of Mr. Windymake's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with the omnibus case, in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you. With everything else she's had to think about, Sato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Sato-san. I will do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm so sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Huh? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruhodo-san. I must finish packing up my things in my room. Sato-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night. Wait, there's something I need to say. Hi-ya! What was that? A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown. Shutdown? Please, I implore you. We have to voice our goodbyes. I won't be able to hold back my tears. Susato! Susato-san. Truly has been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about the nemesis. Okay, the case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted. Yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes. And as a cacophony of the scenes in our lives here in London played through my mind, eventually, my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep. Don't oversleep for the trial. That's not the end of the section? What the heck? Oh, this is a hospital. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. Rest assured, I shall put everything in place exactly as we've discussed. Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. bid you a farewell. Godspeed. My dear madame. What did she tell him? What did she tell him? What did she tell Soames?